Started, Joanne, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Veronica Cordova,
Here.
Mike Miller,
Here.
Chad Heflin,
Here.
Chris Wood.
Here.
We are here. And Mayor Jackson is also here.
Thank you all for attending. Okay, so good. Item 3 is scheduled business. Meetings of previous minutes that were held on January 24th, 2023.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Heflin and a second by Mr. Wood. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Item B, review of the bills and expense report for January 2023 for recommendation from council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This month was another relatively light month at $1,295,773.47. There wasn't really anything out of the ordinary, but if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those for you.
Marilyn, can you tell me what the building project was? Our roofs for the air.
Let me take a quick look on that. It's probably on the roofs. Because we're still in the midst of the project on the memorial building.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's on page 9. Roof repair.
Okay, yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Marilyn, I'm gonna work on trying to get us some funds to redo the airplane up front.
Okay.
Send that quote over. If there's anywhere else you think I need to look, just let me know.
There is a gentleman by the name of John Book that is trying to raise funds for it as well. I can get you his phone number and he can let you know what he's, or I can call him, either way, whatever you prefer. But he's been reaching out to people who want to donate to that cause as well.
Saw Nancy Ginger also had Facebook
Yes.
I looked at 28,000.
28,000.
30,000 roundabout,
Right,
but I mean, figure.
and because it's historical, it has to be done by this, well, not necessarily this person, but he's the one that did it last time. But he has to be certified to restore the plane.
And there are a few of them.
Yes, he's done a few.
I think it's important that we get that done, or at least one of us look into it, so.
Yes, sir.
I'll
Thank
start
you.
looking into that. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. Item C is presentation and action requested relating to the increase in the
Ma'am?
GTR.
Ma'am,
Oh, finally approved the bill, sorry. Okay. Do we have
Motion
action
to
on-
approve the bills.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Heflin, second by Mr. Wood, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Sorry, I got carried away. Okay, item C, presentation and action requested relating to the increased GTR and property tax for recommendations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Sarah and I will probably be tag teaming this. The presentation, the members of the council have already seen. This is the same presentation that was given at the retreat. And so the takeaway from this, and I don't know if we want to go through it in great detail, but the takeaway from this is that the state has allowed us some property tax mills that we can increase. And if we go to the next page, next slide. Our remaining authority for property tax is 4.425 mils. And there are a couple of ways that we can increase this. I'm trying to get a little bit more information from the state. They don't have a whole lot easily available. But if we wanted to go out for bonding, that would involve an election, and that would be next November, as soon as we could do it. Or if we raised it just for general purposes, it would take an ordinance. And so, we would have to have that to the state by June 1st, if we wanted to do that. And we would not have to increase it to 4.425, but that is the maximum it could be increased. Because the maximum that we could have is 7.65, and we have 3.225 mils enacted already. So the estimated change in revenue with property tax rate increased to the 7.65 mils. would be approximately 735,000, and that would be if we increased it the maximum. And of course, these are all estimates. Your mileage may vary depending upon a lot of different factors. If there's changes to the property tax values in the area, that would be the biggest factor changing that. And the next item that we're talking about is GRT. In our current, as of July 1st, 2023, or so that'd be this next July, our enacted rate would be 7.875%, and that includes 4.875 from the state, 1.5 from Roosevelt County, and 1.5% from the city. And so there's we have different increments we can act. Go on to the next slide. We have enacted 1.5625%, available to enact 0.9375%. And of that, that's divided up between non-referendum and referendum. Of course, the referendum would have to go to a vote of our citizens. The non-referendum you can do yourselves. And so we have 0.6125% that is available that you could enact without going to election. And so these are just rough estimates, of course. Each 1/8 would generate about $350,000. And so the non-referendum, if we increased it, the total would be make about 1.7 million increase in the total tax rate. And these are the old rates. It doesn't include the drop from the state. But it get us about 8.5%. Referendum 0.325%. So that'd give us about 910,000. So the total, if we did both referendum and non-referendum, would be about 2.6 million increase, and the majority of that would go to the general fund. The reason we brought this discussion up today is that if you want to increase property tax, so GRT rates, effective July 1st, we have to have an ordinance in place and to the state by March 31st. And so we would have to act this month to get that process started, because we have to enact an ordinance. And there are, how many days does it have to be posted?
There's
Jill?
15, but usually it goes to a month because it doesn't fall within the right amount of time.
Exactly. And so we wanted to give you enough time to consider what you wanted to do, if you wanted to do anything, so you would have enough time to act by July 1st. Or by the March 31st, to have everything in place, if you wanted it in place by July 1st.
For the GRT.
For the GRT. And for the property tax, if it's just an ordinance, we have a little bit more time, but not a whole lot, because we would have to get that to the state by June 1st.
First.
Yes, sir.
What's our surrounding counties doing right now? Curry, maybe Edmond, where is GRT at?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, we'd like to look it up real quick on.
Let me see if I can get that information.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
while she's looking that up, some things that we probably need to consider. We should see the tax bill today or tomorrow. Rumor is they're going to eliminate pyramiding, which will hurt us in some degree, probably not as much as a lot of others. I'll see that information, and you guys can see that information today if you log in to the Senate Tax Committee, which is supposed to meet at 1:30. There's going to be a presentation from New Mexico Tech about all of these gross receipts tax and what can happen should the state do this, this, and this. Another thing that the governor wants is she wants to reduce GRT again by another 0.5%. If she does that and they let them do that, they will not allow us to probably impose the non-referendum part of the taxes. We're working hard on that. I had a discussion this morning. I mean, we could enact that, go through all of whatever, and then we might not be able to impose it in July. Those are part of the rumors right now going on with the tax bill. My recommendation, if it matters, is that we do our property tax fully. That's also been the recommendation from the municipal league based on where we don't know GRT is going to be in the next 30 some odd days. My question then to Marilyn would be, if we enact the property tax, would we get our first property taxes are paid in half unless it's oil and gas or something like that? So we wouldn't see the increased revenue from that until December. Is that correct?
It may actually be longer than that because property tax rates, from what I've seen, and I would have to verify this with the state and the county, seem to lag almost a year behind.
Well, if
enacted.
it's been my experience on property tax when I worked with hospitals, that if we impose it, and I thought it was April, not June, but as long as that rate, the rates come out to be approved in September. So when those rates are approved in September by the county, okay, which
And then would get it in December, yes, sir.
yeah, then that would be collected in December. Or, you know, the first half would be collected. You might collect more than that, but you know, you pay one half due and delinquent in December 15th, and the second half due and delinquent by May 15th. But I think if we get it into the state prior to them doing the rates in September, then we would see our first collection on property tax in December. And I can verify that if you would like.
That would be great if you could verify that. For getting it into the state, our budget analyst said that we needed to do it by June 1st. But then again, she didn't seem to know a whole lot about property taxes.
Who is your budget analyst now?
Sherry Green. Shirley
Has she
Green.
been there for a while?
She's been there. She's actually been there longest, people have been there the longest. But they're Jolene Gonzalez, she was their property tax guru and she retired this year.
Okay. I can probably have the answer to the property tax question sometime after lunch.
So this would increase the 2023 tax year. Those bills are due November and April.
Yes, sir.
So how long does it take for us to see the money from when it's collected?
We get it the next month. If the county collects it this month, we get it next month.
And so if we did enact the 4.425 mils, by my calculation, that's gonna add about $147 in taxes for every 100,000 in value. I estimate that correctly.
You are asking very good questions that I didn't bring that information.
Can you repeat what Chris said? He was real muffled. I could barely hear him.
If you could repeat that, Chris, I couldn't.
I just said, that by my calculation, if we increased by 4.425 mils, that means for every $100,000 in value, the tax bill would increase about $147. So if you had a $200,000 house, then your property tax bill would increase about $300. Is my calculation. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's the math I did last night.
I was looking to see, I had some information from our Rob Burple that had that information. I was looking to see if I could find that. You give
Well,
me a-
I know that if the remaining capacity, I was told, would generate, yeah, and hold on, I'm trying to see. I can run that here real quick.
Well, and the way the market is, when you have the housing market right now values, that's gonna be really high for our citizens.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, what you have to understand is, of course, that's gonna affect property owners, but it's gonna affect renters as well, because. I have a couple-
No, it won't, because that'll only be imposed in the municipality to residential and non-residential. It won't affect any property owners outside the municipal boundaries.
I think what he was trying to say is if I'm a rent landlord, then I'm going to raise my rent on my tenants to catch up that bill.
I'm not saying we don't need the money, we're saying we need to.
Well, we'll get it through, then that's right, we're gonna be able to discuss it. We can start getting meat from residents and landlords the same way.
Exactly.
We gotta have a plan in action. How we plan on fixing this. Every single law. Just go to the clock, we're having a fair market rating, there's some secret.
But if we earmark it and we show good faith that we're earmarking for roads, earmarking for, you know, yeah, then it's we have something to show for.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we need to earmark, if we decide to do this, either way, I think we that, I think we need to earmark something. So that, our constituents in the Mississippi House, can see it more than the word.
So let me ask this question, if I can, Madam Chair.
Yes,
If we were gonna do a GRT increase, we would probably have to do the intent to adopt no later than our second meeting in March. Is that correct, Joanne?
Notice of
No.
intent would have to be done this month, Mike.
Or I'm sorry, our second meeting this month is what I meant to say,
yeah, February, yes.
February.
That would be
That would
pushing
be
it.
pushing it real close, very, very close, because we have only so many days in February. I know it
But-
doesn't matter, but
But our next meeting, let's see, if we were to, so we could do some research.
our
And
next,
the other-
our next meeting is the 28th.
The last meeting, our next meeting is
ne-
14th.
Yes, the last meeting, yes.
Which means then we could actually do, the ordinance adoption on March 28th and have it into DFA by the 31st.
Potentially,
We'd probably have to have a special meeting.
we probably would.
Say
We
again.
have to look at the calendars very closely. So
Well,
the
I'm looking,
28th,
our meeting in March.
Versus the 28th, yeah, there's probably 14th and 28th, yeah.
we have to do it the second meeting in March.
And we would still have time to get it in. You know, I mean, I think the discussion. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
No, yeah, we'd have to do it on 28th.
Mm-hmm. The
We have-
28th would be the.
The 28th would be the latest date we could adopt, or do a notice of intent to hold the hearing then the following month. Yes,
You know, I'll just tell you right now, my personal preference would be to go to the property tax rate right now. And see, I mean, I say this every year and I apologize for it. And so in the next few days, we'll see what the intent is on GRT from the legislature. We're expecting that package today or tomorrow.
Realistically, we could say no recommendation from this committee. Still put it on the council agenda and let the council decide. And then by then, we could, we've got all the information we need for the next council meeting. Or August 28th, yeah. We could postpone on Tuesday if we all have enough information, meet again on the 28th.
And
What if
I-
we just recommendation today based on what our current information is? And if the legislature does something different, then, you know, we have to go back and regroup and at least get the ball rolling.
Is GRT the one?
GRT.
Yeah.
Time sensitive, yeah.
Right.
I would say we still don't have enough information to act today, Madam Chair. Because, you know, the question we ask about property tax, if we were to enact the property tax and then we wouldn't collect the property tax until 2024, I think that would have a significant implication on maybe this decision. You know,
I can go back and get what information I can and do the calculation on the mills to verify on that, so we can have a little bit more information for the council meeting.
Or can we know that we're gonna place this on the 28th meeting? And then, maybe reconvene with finance committee on the 21st, a week before, and then it gives the state time to see what
Do
they're
what
gonna
they're
do
doing in
with their
GRT.
legislation. So we can come back and,
Or even just put it on the next meeting and then we could always postpone it until the 28th too. And so we have an opportunity to vote on it if it does come back. That way it gives them plenty of time. What I'm hearing is that the 28th is gonna be a rush process.
it always is, Chad.
Yeah,
Every time we do this, it's usually a rush.
well, I'm just, there's nothing wrong with postponing it.
Well, the 28th of February, the 28th of March, is not 30 days.
No, it's 28.
No, but you have to remember, you say 15 days, but it never falls right on the council day. Falls the day after, so you have to go to the end for the next meeting.
But in this instance, it does follow.
Yes, it does fall on the 28th because our meetings are the 2nd and 4th.
In February, March this year. It affects it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But I mean, we would have enough time, right, Joanne?
Yes, sir.
okay, so what is the pleasure on how we want to miss this? What meeting do you want to use? And what do we want to recommend?
Well, the way I see it is property tax could be done later. But if you want a motion. I guess the motion would probably be just to approve a property tax increase. Right now,
Or
or where's the agenda?
We want to wait and get more information as to when it would go into effect. We want to have a discussion on whether we're going to do the whole 4 mills all at one time, or maybe split it up into 2 years, or.
Let's have a little more information on exactly what. We calculated that.
I'm okay with that too, Chris. I mean,
I don't-
I don't feel like the property tax is rushed right now,
you have till June,
right?
June, right?
So,
June 1st.
I mean,
And we'd have to do an ordinance, so we'd have to start that, say 45 days before.
Right, yes.
So the motion would be postponed until further information from the state comes through.
Madam Chair, could I offer a motion?
Sure.
Could
I
I
already
make?
made a motion, Mike. There's a motion.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear you.
Repeat your motion, please, Chad.
Motion to postpone the GRT and the property tax until further information is given to the state. From the state. Hey, Mike, I didn't get a second. You can go ahead.
No, I'm just considering that, I would second that motion if we put a deadline of, say, we postpone it no later than February 21st.
And
That was-
that's gonna give you that's enough time to have all the information back on the legislation.
Yeah, I believe.
Chad, did you change
You
your?
want me to all redo the motion?
Yes, sir.
Motion to postpone till no later than February 21st. Then we'll review and decide after that.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Heflin and a second by Mr. Wood. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so if you'll just work on getting us that information and then we can
Yes.
think about it. We have some time to think about it now too, as we are working through this, so.
I did find some information to answer Mr. Heflin's question about, tax rates, GRT tax rates in the local areas.
Hold on 1 second.
Yes, sir.
All right, what do you got?
Okay, so in Curry County, and I'd gone beyond that, Clovis is 8.0625%, which is the same as ours. And then what other
I mean, I
agents?
would just say bordering counties, that'd be what, maybe?
Oh, is it what?
8.0625%.
Is that the total for the whole county? And
Yes, the
Clover?
total for the whole county, the enacted rate within the city limits, including county, state, in city. Because the chart I'm looking at doesn't have it broken down.
I can get that chart. I can get that chart to you this afternoon, Marilyn.
Yes, sir.
And we can distribute it to the rest of the committee.
Yeah, the only thing is that chart's not it's not very user friendly to print out because it's so big. So I'm just looking at the total tax rates.
But
And
what, could you forward each one of us that link?
yes, sir.
Yeah, that'll be fair enough. We can look at it. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
So,
Why?
I'm sure I'd remind everybody that if they have the time,
I
Saturday.
just want to know where we're at. Compared to everybody else. That's how I feel like. I feel like that's how I vote. So it means.
Information is powerful.
There were 5.
You think so?
Yes.
Go shopping, you close, there's no tax rate.
No,
If it was at 3%, yes.
You go shopping in Clovis because they have different restaurants that we do, go shopping in Clovis because they have different retail stores than we do. I can't think of any time in my life I've ever said, I'm gonna shop in one city or the other because groceries and tax. And none of us. And none of us.
Then we go to Texas.
Yeah.
The other, my point is, none of us knew what the difference in the tax rate was. So does the average person know? Probably not. So, yeah, let's get the information, but I don't think it should be a consideration. Consider based on what our needs are.
Good point.
You might be interested, I could send you a table. It's 2021 enacted rates, but it's property tax enacted rates. Clovis property tax is actually a little bit higher enacted rates than our current rates. If you wanted that for comparison.
That's to be expected really in my mind.
Yes, sir.
Plus focus is enacted, so especially taxes. in
that
addition
aren't
to-
reflected here, yes.
Especially for for the water project, they have a 4% tax or sales tax that goes right to their water. Fees, so, those are smart.
And the other information that I would like to see is in addition to whatever the current tax rate is, that they made any proposals to increase their tax rates. Just like we did.
And then we can total vote, right? One or the other,
Mm.
yeah, yes.
I think Clovis is in a little bit better situation than we are because they get so many new businesses coming in that they don't need to impose increased property taxes because they're naturally increasing their collections. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot coming in.
We got a new one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Okay, do we have any more questions or anything for staff on property tax or GRT? Okay, item D is other business, any other matter not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of the posting of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to remind everybody, if they have time, that presentation in Senate Business Tax Business and Transportation Committee this afternoon between 1:30 and 2:30, sometime after they finish the floor. I think it'll be pretty interesting. Might even shed some light here.
And Mike, that's just get on New Mexico, just the basic website to get.
Yeah,
into that
and then
meeting.
go to the top line, go to webcasts, and then scroll down and it'll tell you that committee. And it's the first thing on the agenda today. So.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mike.
Staff, anything? No? From you guys? Okay, well, our next item is adjournment. So adjournment, I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you.